lie as freely as they breathe and doesn't push back against any of their lies. In fact, in Trump's case, really fairly energetically helped put his lies into the most plausible possible shape.
Oh my God, you guys, Kyle Kulinski just bodied Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is begging for mercy. Kyle Kulinski is going in. I'm giving my commentary as well. Let's watch.
Viral on social media here because he had some commentary on the current state of politics, but more importantly, the current state of the podcast world, the new media world, the Rogan sphere, if you will. And he used to be, a regular sort of member of the Rogan sphere. He's been on the podcast probably double-digit times, right? Kind of similar to me. I wasn't on as much as him, but I was on maybe 5 times or so on Rogan. And man, he has some thoughts here. So let's listen and we'll break it down as we go.
Joe is a genuinely good guy who wants good things for people. But he is honestly in over his head on so many topics of great consequence, right? When he brings someone on to just shoot the shit about, how the Holocaust is not what you think it was, right? Or
he literally did that, by the way. Just so everybody knows, this is not hyperbolic. Because you could hear Sam Harris say this and think like, oh, he's being hyperbolic. No. He had on that guy, Daryl Cooper, who literally did Nazi apologetics right to Rogan's face. Go watch the video we did on that. We did a video on that. I think it was called like the Nazi Apologist Experience or something like that with Joe Rogan, something like that. Go watch that video. He's literally talking to a guy who does exactly that. He talked to a guy who said Churchill was the chief villain of World War II. The chief. Can't stress that word enough. The chief villain of World War II. Is there anybody worse? Let me think. Are there multiple people worse? Hitler, Mussolini, Emperor Hirohito, right? Like, he's right. He's also right about Joe being in over his head. I consider that fucking patently obvious. When Joe has on a robber baron billionaire oligarch seemingly every month, and the oligarchs routinely lie to his face about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is basically the anti-scam police in our government. They've returned billions of dollars to Americans who were defrauded by big financial institutions. They're basically, if you get scammed, that's where you go. And they are wildly successful, and they're so easy to work with, right? That's who they are. Joe had on a bunch of billionaire robber barons who were like, bro, the CFPB thing, whatever it's called, bro, like, they mess.
Jamie, pull up why Hitler isn't bad. And on top of that, pull up why my wife doesn't love me. I mean, Joe Rogan, he's a shell of his former self. That's why he's starting to suck big time. He's out here, his stand-up already sucks. He's a caricature of his former self. He is no longer this person that is even somewhat relatable. He is out here just looking goofy nonstop.
Me up, bro. They came after my buddy, dog. They really do fucked up shit. They oppress us, man. And that's how he's in over his head, because anybody worth a shit would immediately look up, what's the CFPB? What do they do? What's the evidence? Here, look through their history, etc. Couldn't do it, didn't do it. Sat there and let them lie. They kept saying to his face, oh, the CFPB debanks conservatives. Meanwhile, the reality is, not only do they not do that, they've protected people from being debanked. By the way, the Republicans wanted to legalize debanking. The people he fucking votes for and sucks off on a show on a regular basis. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's let him continue.
Maybe Churchill's the bad guy in World War II.
Is that Tucker?
Or he's got Dave Smith, being treated as an expert on Israel and Palestine and the history of that conflict and the.
Okay, that's you just lost me, Sam Harris. I have so many criticisms of so many of the people Joe brings on the show and of Joe himself and of the shit they talk about. But one of the best parts is having Dave Smith on to keep Joe Rogan sane and grounded on the issue of Israel and Gaza. In fact, he handpicked probably the single best moments from the Joe Rogan Experience within the past 2 years and said, that's the problem, bro. No, it's not. By the way, Dave Smith would cook Sam Harris on a debate about foreign policy, and like I did, and on a debate about Israel-Palestine. It wouldn't even be close. Look, Dave Smith is a libertarian. In my opinion, he's dead wrong on economic issues, right? But on foreign policy issues, depending on the one in question, he's a lot better than Sam Harris is. Sam Harris is an ardent Zionist and a neocon. So, I mean, it'd be good to see them debate it, but clearly he like looks down on Dave Smith, bro. I can't talk to Dave Smith, bro. Dave is right on Israel and Gaza. You are wrong. You are monstrously wrong. So he lost me here.
Emergency that came to the world's attention on October 7th, and what is appropriate to think in the aftermath of all of that, right? Dave Smith is the only reason why anyone knows what Dave Smith thinks about any of this is very likely because Joe had him on multiple times to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Joe Rogan's just going to go against whoever he thinks is in a better position just so he can, oh, I'm going to stick up for the little guy. Oh, I'm going for the underdog. You're not this cool you're not this rebel. You're not this person. You don't look in the mirror and think that you're James Dean, dude. Like, what the hell goes through your head? You are literally behind the scenes, like sucking off Spotify execs for $1 billion an hour. Like, don't come in here and say, oh, you're for the underdog, you're for all these people. You're not. You're just not.
He's one of the least bad of the people that Joe has propped up. That's what I would say. Again, I would disagree vehemently with Dave Smith on like 50 to 60% of political issues, but on the other 40, he's just leagues better than almost anybody he has on his shitty fucking podcast now.
He's a pure misinformation artist. And
No, that's you. On the issue of Israel and Gaza, that's you. This is Mr. like, bro, the fucking Muslim birth rates are too high, bro, and the West is falling, bro. Like, yeah, you did your whole fucking fear-mongering over Muslims for a fucking decade now. People are past it.
And, on top of many others. And when Joe talks to someone like Trump or Tucker Carlson or, any of these other guys who lie as freely as they breathe and doesn't push back against any of their lies. In fact, in Trump's case, really fairly energetically helped put his lies into the most plausible possible shape.
That is 100% correct. That's what we talked about. Go watch my segment. I covered his talk with Trump. It's like, pick any asshole mainstream media journalist. They have done a better interview with Trump than Joe Rogan did. Joe Rogan sat there and took it. When Trump said about Hillary, I never said lock her up. I never said lock her up. People in the audience would say lock her up, and I'd say, oh, I don't know about that. Seems a little much. And Joe sat there. He didn't respond. I said, hold on. Wait a second. Jamie, pull that up. Like, see if there's fucking a compilation of it. Because we played the compilations on the show. He said it a gazillion fucking times. He said lock her up countless. It was like one of his campaign slogans. There was like MAGA and Drain the Swamp, and then lock her up was chanted all the time, and he would say it too. And he was like, one of the things Rogan said to him was like, oh, make your case on why you think 2020 was stolen. I'll move out of the way and let you make the full argument, unlike the people in the media who will cut you off. Yeah, when the people in the media cut him off, it's because he's fucking lying, and they're like, you're fucking lying, and here's how we know you're lying. Rogan made it seem like virtuous to let him lie about that in front of everybody. I mean, it was just pathetic. It was just
probably shagged after as well. I mean, look at it. Go watch it looks like a first date. It literally looks like you have somebody who's getting swooned, and they're giggling, and they're out here, like, oh, he's getting so charmed by this guy. The guy that said, hey, let's grab him by it's crazy. Who was I watching? That was crazy. That was like the worst thing in the world. He literally just sat there and was like, "Oh man!" Like he was watching Bat or superhero. Like he was seeing a real life superhero. He just stood there in awe and let him say whatever the hell he wanted to say.
Just absolutely fucking pathetic. He did no homework for it. He didn't know the first fucking thing. I love how he asked Trump, like, "Hey man, did you make mistake in your first term when you invited in the neocons to be in your administration?" And he posed it like this good faith, like, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Like, you're not going to make that same mistake this time. And it's like, anybody who's well-versed on this shit would know. Number one, it wasn't a fucking mistake. Number two, it wasn't just the neocons. Trump himself is a warmonger. Number three, like, immediately after Trump got back in office, he invited like 17 more neocons in. And now he's warmongering more than George W. Bush and Dick Cheney ever, right? When you're threatened.
So there we have it, you guys. Joe Rogan finding the father he never had in Donald Trump. I wonder how long that projection is going to last. Probably once Trump stops going to his baseball games. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.